Jets told us, he said, in order to try to control the Miami Dolphins, we have to get Dan Marino out of his rhythm. How do you do that? They interchange 8 defensive linemen. They really have the luxury because Robinson believes that these 8 guys are all interchangeable. They're all first-string guys, all starters. So they did it in the first couple games, very effective. They should be effective today.
But the Jets today will be without their middle linebacker, Marvin Jones, because of a sprained ankle. He is inactive. That means the veteran Kyle Clifton is back in the starting lineup. And when you talk about injuries, you look at the Miami Dolphins, and they have been battered, particularly defensively.
Take a look at the Miami Dolphins. Now, they've got a whole bunch of guys out, but look at the bottom 5. Those are defensive backs and linebackers. Now, Gene Atkins may be able to play. We don't know. They're going to take a shot at it. But the rest of these guys are all out. O.J. McDuffie, who is a return man, he's out there, may be able to play, but with Mike Williams out with a hamstring, it really hurts their kicking game.
Miami has won the toss, and they will receive. That is the temperature in the direct sunlight on the field. It has now hit 100 degrees. Nick Lowry checking that there are 11 Jets on the field, and we see that O.J. McDuffie, who was a question mark, as Paul mentioned, because of a knee problem, is in there for this kickoff return, along with Mike Williams. Miami Dolphins last Sunday beat the Green Bay Packers in Milwaukee after the shootout against New England in Week 1, while the Jets with victories over the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos.
You know, Marv, it's amazing how one guy feels a lot better when you're playing the Jets. O.J. McDuffie, we heard he probably would not play, and here he is returning on the first kickoff.
O.J. McDuffie among the leaders in the AFC a year ago in both kickoff and punt return. The Jets have won 5 of the last 6 against the Dolphins. It has been a series that has featured a number of shootouts. Has to be teed up once again by Lowry. Beautiful day here in Miami, although on the hot and humid side. And Lowry able to line drive it. Now by McDuffie. Finds the opening. And is able to return across the 30-yard line. A 32-yard return by O.J. McDuffie. The Miami offensive line played well last week against Green Bay. Webb, Sims, Dellenbach, Widener, and Heller. Dan Marino throwing 7 touchdowns in 2 games. He's a quarterback. Kirby and Byers. The running backs, Pryor, Ingram, who had a big one last week, and Jackson. When they go 3 wide, Scott Miller checks in. Scott Miller will see some playing time here today. First down from the 32. And Marino to the sideline. That time threw it away. Pass intended for Irving Pryor, at least Pryor over there, covered by Ronnie Lott. Paul mentioned we'll see quite a bit of shuffling here on that Jets defensive line. Donald Evans had an excellent game last week against the Broncos. And from time to time, Washington and Lageman will shuffle. Kyle Clifton in the middle instead of the injured Marvin Jones. James Hasty, a man who was a target last week of John Elway, but the feeling is that Aaron Glenn will see a lot of action in his territory. Marcus Turner comes on in the nickel package.
Now we see Hasty on Pryor.
Second down and 10. It's to the ground. Terry Kirby. Last Sunday at Green Bay, rookie Irving Spikes had an excellent game, running for 70 yards, 13 carries, but hurt his knee. And Mark Higgs, who had been inactive the first 2 games and not very happy about it, is available for today's game.
But he said Higgs has a good attitude. He wants to play. He always seems to have a good game against the Jets. So you put all that stuff aside.
There's Mark Higgs, 5'7" running back in his 7th year out of Kentucky. Marino looking at a 3rd down and 6. Miami from its 36-yard line. And he completes to the tight end, Keith Jackson, for the first down.
All right, we're going to establish this early because we talked to Don Shula the other day, and here's what he said to us. He said, we have to control third down. We have to make third downs work for us, and we have to get the Jets off the field when they're in a third down situation. Now, here you are with the linebackers coming out. Jackson downfield. Washington is there. He just gets beyond the first down marker, checks it up, and Marino hits him. The Jets at that time were in a zone defense. They hit the zone.
Pick up of 12 yards and a first down for the Dolphins at their 48-yard line. And Marino's pass thrown behind Kirby, who was covered by Clifton.
All right, this is what they were talking about. Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator for the Jets, said we have to get him out of his rhythm. That time, Marino was throwing to Kirby Jackson. He had to throw the ball early. Kirby Jackson had not even made his move yet. I mean, Kirby Jackson. But Kirby did not make his move yet, so when Marino throws, he had to throw the ball away because the defensive rush.
Paul, this is throwback week, so we can understand the Kirby Jackson.
Thank you.
Second down and 10 at the 48. No score, just underway with 2 minutes gone by. The pass is completed, and it's worked free and then picked up. And let's see, apparently they say it was blown dead. It should be marked as a pickup of 7.
Keith Byers picks the ball up, but the ball was already blown dead. Jackson, they say, was down, stopped. He couldn't go anymore. Keith Jackson was the receiver. And watch how fast this ball gets there. When Jackson makes his turn, the ball's coming now. The ball was released as he was making the turn. Now, they're saying he's down, he's stopped. But once you're stopped, Marv, you have no more control about going forward. They will blow the ball dead. They considered the play was over. It's a good call.
Called a third down and 3. And Byers gets to the marker. Let's see where they spot it.
Byers just gave himself a first down. But they're going to measure this. And, you're in that situation. You've got the opening drive. You're in the opponent's territory, but you're at the 41.5-yard line.
Discussion between Jeff Lageman, who was covering Keith Byers on the play. Lageman and Byers in a conversation, but they are calling for the yardsticks.
If it's this close, I think the decision would be to go for it, even if they don't make it. I say if they don't. And they didn't. I think the decision here is to go for it. I really do, because you only got a half inch. These guys are all making $1 million up front. They should be able to get you half inch, shouldn't they? I see. That's a throwback. Marino went right to the sideline as they were measuring, and he talked it over with Gary Stevens and Don Shula, and the decision was made to go for it. And I don't think it's one of those decisions where they go up on the ball, Marv, and try to get them to go offside. Most teams are too sophisticated for that now.
Dan Marino last week completed 10 of 11 passes on either third or fourth down. Now, normally you would look for the run right here, but with Marino, you don't know.
You really don't. I mean, that New England, that 4th and 5, which meant the game, he went downtown with it, and they scored.
First down. Terry Kirby comes off the left side to pick it up.
I really thought that this was one of those situations where a lot of teams would come up to the line of scrimmage and then put a guy in motion and try to run the clock down. But not this team. They have a strong offensive line. They went to the side, Webb and Sims. And here's Shula watching it. He'll tell you in his reaction, did they make it? Make the call.
We have not received the official indications. That's why you did not see the reaction from Don Shula, and they will measure once again.
This is made. They only had about 6 inches to go.
Miami with a first down of the Jet 41-yard line. This is the 8th play of the drive.
Marv, if you question whether Marino's healthy or not, he says he's about 90%, but he makes that move in the pocket that if he were afraid of his Achilles or anything else, he wouldn't do this. Watch this little move he makes to get up inside. You see it? Bang! He steps up, gets himself free, and then he hits Byers with the ball. Watch this from the backside. You'll see Marino. He sees the rush coming. Now, all he knows now is I got to get up front just a little bit, get Byers. Everything's all well with the play.
And telling us that he's feeling okay, not great, when he chatted with him after practice on Friday. Kirby broke a tackle, then hauled down by Clifton. Kyle Clifton is playing with a bad knee. Marvin Jones making his first NFL start last week against Denver. Marvin really wanted to play today. He lives 5 minutes from Joe Robbie Stadium, grew up in the Miami area, attending Northwestern High School. There's Marvin Jones. In fact, he had to buy 25 tickets for friends and family for today's game, and they're checking him out on the sideline.
Players don't like to buy tickets.
All the color commentators of that team.
Burn down about that throwback to your wardrobe.
Burn down and 2. Good second effort by Kirby. And let's see where they mark it. Mo Lewis on the tackle and claiming that he was able to strip the ball.
Smart. Let me tell you, unless they have that much confidence in Stoyanovich, I'm going to tell you right now, if you went for it before, you go for it now. And you don't make that decision back at the 41-yard line and then pass it up at the 32-yard line. You make the same decision. Go for the first down.
There's a 4th and about a half a yard to go. This is a drive that is consumed 5.5 minutes. 11th play of this series. Off the fake, it's Kirby to the outside. First down and more. Little delay by Marino. And Kirby runs for 7, taken down by Glenn and Lewis.
Boy, are you absolutely correct with this thing about Marino. Marino comes out. Watch this. It looks like it may be a bootleg. Here goes Marino. He holds the left-hand side of the defensive line and gets Kirby out to the outside. Byers is out there. He really doesn't have to make a block because the first down was already made. If he gets a block, Kirby might have the touchdown.
Here's Kirby. Last season, a pleasant surprise for the Dolphins. A 3rd-round draft pick last year. First down at the 25. Again, Marino with the time. And completes to the flat to Kirby. Last year, Terry Kirby led the NFL with 75 receptions, tied with Herschel Walker for most in the league by a running back.
I'm looking down there at the Jets defensive linemen. Logum and Washington and those guys are standing down there with their hands on their hips. Now, I know that this has been a long drive, just about 7 minutes now, but Marino had all the time in the world to throw the football. He picks out the open man.
2nd down and 4 at the 19. Miami has had the ball since the opening kickoff. 7:45 remaining in this first quarter. Here's Kirby. Miami first down for Terry Kirby. Taken down by James Hastings.
But the blocking on the outside, and it starts with Keith Byers and pulling out the guards from Keith Sims as they pull. Now watch Byers. He's going to scrape off. Sims gets a block, and Byers gets out on Kyle Clifton. Doesn't really block him, gets a piece of him. Enough to enable Kirby to get by him. Got to make you feel good when Mark Ingram, your receivers are downfield throwing blocks.
And Paul, this is the 14th play of the drive. Here's Mark Higgs coming out for Terry Kirby. First down at the 10, and here's Higgs trying to get to the outside and goes down, lost the arm.
He didn't stay with Richmond Webb. Richmond Webb was his blocker, the tackle that's out blocking for him. If he stays with him, all he has to do is cut back inside. What he does, though, is Kirby goes back, or Higgs goes back to the outside. Watch this. You see 78, Webb blocking for him. Here, if he cuts in, he's got blockers. But no, he stays outside. Clifton plays the play very well, along with Washington. Yard loss.
Last year, Mark Higgs led the Dolphins in rushing for the 3rd straight year, as we mentioned earlier, inactive. The first 2 games, 2nd down from the 11th. And Marino throws, and it is intercepted 67 yards for a touchdown. Has taken that pass intended for Keith Jackson, and they'll move it out to the 20-yard line.
They're just watching Marino's eyes, and they're trying to force this ball inside. Both linebackers are there. Clifton and Mo Lewis. Interception, no score. We're going to give you three people really involved. Here's Jackson, here's Clifton, and here's Mo Lewis. And watch what he does. He's going to drop back here and just take a look at Marino's eyes. He's going to follow Marino. Back, he's looking at Marino. He sees where Jackson is, and watch this. He just steps in front. Both linebackers are there. Just great defense.
So 15 plays. Dolphins had it for 8 minutes and 49 seconds, but not able to come up with any points. Johnny Johnson stopped at the line as the Jets go to the offense for the first time. The offensive line playing so well. Criswell, Duffy, Sweeney, White, and Malamala. Quarterback is Boomer Esiason. Brad Baxter is back after suffering a turf toe injury. Moore and Mitchell are the receivers. Art Monk had a good one last week, and James Thornton comes in as the second tight end along with Johnny Mitchell. Rob Moore still playing with the broken wrist. Had a sensational game against the Broncos a week ago. Second down and 10 for the Jets at their 20-yard line. No score here in the first quarter. Esiason with the time, and he has an open man. Rob Moore for the first down. And that is good for 17. He is stopped by the free safety, Gene Atkins.
Well, Rob Moore is open. There's no question about this, but the time that Boomer Esiason has to throw. Watch the moves that Moore makes. He comes down. They're playing zone. They release him to the inside. He's got enough time to get by the linebacker and still catch the ball. The reason for that, the offensive line blocked. Boomer Esiason had all the time in the world to throw the ball.
It's a first down for the Jets at the 37. I asked Rob yesterday if he would continue to wear the cast even after he's healed because he's been going so well. He walked out of the room for him. Here's Johnson.
And that was one of your better questions.
Yes, it was. Doug Clinbile made the tackle. Look at the front four for Miami. Tim Bowen is a huge rookie from Mississippi, 6'4", 317 pounds. Miami has been hard hit by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Brian Cox thus moves to center with Chuck Bullock out of action. Beavers making his second NFL start. Oliver replacing the injured Troy Vincent. Gene Atkins giving it a shot despite a sprained right hamstring. We'll also see quite a bit of Chris Green. Second down and 6. That is too high for the tight end, Johnny Mitchell.
Oh, and they had a blitz on with Cox coming up the middle, and it was picked up beautifully. Brad Baxter just stepped up in, made the block, and Boomer had time to throw the football. He just overthrew the tight end. It was his fault. Boomer coming back, when he throws the ball, he knows it's my fault. When they do that, they know it's their fault. That's me. I already blamed you, didn't I?
Third down and 6. Boomer Esiason with 2 solid games against Buffalo and Denver. It was deflected. Batted down by the Miami front four.
Boy, this is what Don Shula said. On third down, we have to get these guys off the field and our offense on. Now, I think it's Bowens, number 95, the big guy. Yeah, he's in the ball game. Tim Bowens is the guy that steps up and makes the play. And this is the guy that really has to have a good game in order for this defense to function.
Hasn't played very much on the college level, only 9 games at Mississippi. After some junior college action, he is considered to be a major project, but they love him. Tim Bowens. And O.J. McDuffie is back, waiting for the Brian Hansen punt.
Delay a game. Miami shifted
5 yards.
Punt return team.
Still fourth down.
And they were still calling out what they're doing. And it's a smart play, because what difference is another 5 yards going to be? You're at the 40, so the 35-yard line. You've got a very good punter. Don't make a mistake up front and get your punt blocked.
Referee Larry Nemmer is sporting a very nice-looking hat. Paul, this all part of the Back to the Future Throwbacks Weekend.
They were all late. We'll boat that over in Payne Stewart's closet.
Just under 4 minutes remaining. quarter. Marv Albert, Paul McGuire from Joe Robbie Stadium. The punt by Hansen. A short one. Fair catch handled by McDuffie at the 29-yard line. A 37-yard punt. Miami back to the offense.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century. By AT&T, we help put your world within reach. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean, classic taste. And by Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, and nachos. Cross the border.
Well, as part of Throwback Weekend, honorary captains Joe Namath for the Jets, Manny Fernandez, Bob Kuchenberg for the Dolphins. Captains out for the pregame coin toss. Dolphins wearing replica uniforms from the 1972 undefeated season. The Jets from their Super Bowl campaign of 1968. First down at the 30, Miami. Back to the offense. Keith Byers out to the 35-yard line. Picked up about 6 on the play. We're set for an update. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Marvin, we'll take you to Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. The opening kickoff of the game, Ronald Humphrey of Indianapolis takes it 95 yards against the Steelers. Apparently, ugly uniforms are of absolutely no help in stopping opening kickoffs with the extra point. The Colts lead the Steelers 7-0 first quarter, Marv.
All right, Greg. Greg, really tough on the throwback uniforms. They're hurting. Second down and 4 at the 36-yard line. For the first down, a spinning Mark Ingram, who had 7 receptions last Sunday against Green Bay, goes for 12 on the play.
You know, again, this all starts with blocking. Now watch what Marino's able to do. He goes back in the pocket. Now watch him. He's going to step just one step up, and it's clear. The path is clear right in front of him. No green shirts, only a white shirt. That'd be Ingram.
Interested at one point in signing Deion Sanders, and thought that Ingram would be waived because they wanted to use his $8.5 slot, but it did not happen. Ingram has played very well. The reception made by Keith Jackson. Mo Lewis on the tackle, but Jackson went for 11 for another Dolphin first down.
They have Keith Jackson. He is coming out. Watch this. A little slip back to the outside. He's coming across the middle, and he's wide open. When you play zone defense, they also had the guy down the field, number 80, that they're going to take a look at, Irving Fryer, that was open. Another first down.
Marino 6 of 9, 53 yards. Intercepted once in the end zone by Mo Lewis. That's a long opening drive. Finally shoved him out.
Marv, you can't say enough about Keith Byers, number 41. The blocking that he has coming out of the backfield. I mean, he's the guy that makes the play. Here's Keith Byers right here. Now watch when he comes up. He's going to come down in this slot right here and seal off. You don't have to put anybody on the ground. All you have to do is get a piece. Watch this. Here's the piece. He gets Mo Lewis. Kirby gets to the outside. They pick up 10 yards.
It's a first down at the Jet 30-yard line. Miami with 7 first downs. They opened the game by going 15 plays, holding the ball for 8 minutes and 49 seconds, but were not able to cash in off that interception by Mo Lewis, and now they're back and driving again. Driving in this first quarter with no score. Marino off the wall. Kirby. And Kirby took a hard hit at the 25-yard line. Picked up 5. Marv, made the stop.
I'm sorry, but if Kirby stays to the outside, he might have touchdown.
Looks like Mark Gunn shaken up. An official timeout is taken. We'll be back in Miami in a moment.
I said, Marv, that Kirby had a chance of maybe scoring on this play. This is going to be Kirby, and we're going to pick him up again in a little while. Watch this. Here comes the screen. It's set up perfectly. Now, when Kirby gets the ball, look at the three. Hold on, right there. There's the three offensive linemen are here. I'm going to clear this right now. If Kirby goes here, he has a block. But this is the guy that, to me, it's important. If he gets through there, he's got another blocker downfield. Watch what happens. He cuts inside instead of outside, and he cuts into the green shirts.
And they're still working on Mark Gunn, the defensive tackle for the New York Jets, who last year was hard hit by injury after winning a starting job in 1992. He's in his 4th NFL season out of Pittsburgh, and here's it from the crowd as he heads to the Jets sideline.
And that's part of that second or rotating 8 that we were talking about. He is one of those guys that comes in. He is considered as a starter, too.
A reminder, Frasier moving to Tuesday this week. Don't miss the season premiere of Frasier. That's Tuesday at 9 o'clock Eastern and 8 Central on NBC. That is the Emmy award-winning Frasier. Paul, I know you can relate to Eddie the dog.
I love the dog. I love the dog. The dog has a lot of personality. A lot of my traits.
It's a second down and 5. Marino in trouble. And we get a flag thrown. Pass intended for Ingram.
That's in the area of holding. Marino seemed to have more time than he really wanted.
Holding, offense, number 65. 10 yards, repeat second down.
Dellenbeck is the guy that was holding. He's the center. But Marino, here he comes. He steps up again. Watch this. Watch all the time he has. Here he sits up now. He's looking. Sees the block. There's a holding right to the left of the screen. But he's being grabbed. Now he still has time. Being grabbed again. And gets the ball away.
And pressure from the one-time Dolphin, Alfred Oglesby. Time, and he's been playing well for the Jets as part of that 8-man rotation. It's a second and 15. At the Jet 35, 42 seconds remaining. First quarter, no score. Marino again with a long look, and then comes back the other way, and it is caught in bounds by Mark Ingram.
Marino's got to be happy with his backs in the backfield, because that time Terry Kirby, number 43, picks up Mo Lewis coming in on a blitz, and he does a great job. It enables Marino to get back to the outside and pick up something. When you look at Kirby, he's going to be right over here, and Mo Lewis, watch 57 coming up in here, and watch what happens. Kirby steps over. Here's the block. He forces Mo Lewis back to the outside. Look at him stay with that block. That gives Marino the time to get to Ingram on the outside.
It's a third down and 9 at the Jet 29. Time running out in this opening quarter. Now the quick release by Marino. The diving attempt is made right at the marker, and it's caught by Fryer. Irving Fryer with a nice catch in front of the nickelback Marcus Turner.
This ball is thrown before Fryer even makes his first cut. Marino is being rushed. Watch how fast the adjustment that Fryer makes at the bottom of the screen. He comes out, the ball's in the air. You see, right now the ball's there. He makes a great adjustment on the ball. Marino has to throw the ball in a hurry. Bang, the ball is thrown. Fryer is making his turn. Perfect.
End of the first quarter when we come back. Miami first and 10 at the Jet 19. Welcome back to Joe Robbie Stadium on a 92-degree day in South Florida. And this first quarter has been all Miami, although the Jets and the Dolphins are scoreless.
Pete Carroll, between quarters, he's talking to the line judge, and he's not happy. What are you talking about? Are you? And I don't like your hat on top of it. Besides that.
That's Larry Upson, the line judge. Miami has had the ball in the first quarter, 12 and a half of the 15 minutes. And you can see the domination right there. It's the second quarter. It's underway. Dolphins first down at the Jet 19-yard line. And Marino short range completes to Byers. And Byers is hit down inside the 5. Aaron Glenn with the submarine play.
Nobody covered him. No one covered him coming out of the backfield. Keith Byers runs all alone. Nobody there. Here's a guy here. Watch this. He comes out of the backfield, you won't see a green shirt around him. Look at this. That catch was so easy, it scared him. He turned around. Here's Ingram downfield. If he cuts back inside, he might have been able to get a touchdown because Ingram was there to block.
Call of the first half last week against Green Bay. Byers wide open for an easy touchdown. The Packers let him loose.
It's incredible because, you know they're going to throw the ball to this guy.
First and goal at the 2. And here's Kirby. And could not get in. Kyle Clifton stacked him up.
Outstanding defensive play. Kyle Clifton, he's just reading. He's reading. He sees Byers come up inside. He just waits right there, and then the tackle is made. Houston also was there, number 55.
Dan Marino, 10 of 13, 91 yards. Intercepted once. That stopped that long opening drive as Mo Lewis picked it off. And Bill Piquel shaken up. Timeout has been taken. When we pick it up, Miami with a second and goal inside the 1. We'll be right back. Bill Piquel hurting his ankle, but trying to walk it off at the Jets sideline. And we resume with a minute gone by, second quarter. Jets and Dolphins scoreless. And the Dolphins second and goal inside the 1.
Not necessarily right play either for Marino.
But he does go to the run, and it's a touchdown. Terry Kirby takes it in.
Terry Kirby following Keith Byers. Blocking along the line of scrimmage is just devastating. Look, Byers gets inside. Mo Lewis is in the end zone. He really has no chance. Kirby is there for the touchdown. I'm really impressed with Byers. Not only blocking, catching the ball, running with the ball. Just a heads-up football player.
So that's the 10th play of another long Miami drive, and here's Pete Stoyanovich for the extra point. 10 plays, 70 yards in 5 minutes and 5 seconds.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. By Burger King, value every day, have it your way. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Castrol Syncheck, the full synthetic motor oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
Dolphins with a 7-0 lead on the New York Jets. The Dolphins have owned the football right from the opening kickoff. And now Pete Stoyanovich getting set to kick it to the combination of Adrian Morrell, second-year man from West Virginia, Richie Anderson, a second-year player from Penn State. Morrell on the right, number 29. Anderson is number 20. We're just underway, second quarter. The Dolphins with another long drive. They had a 15-play drive right at the start. Stopped by a jet interception by Mo Lewis. And the touchdown sequence went 10 plays. Capped off by the short run for Terry Kirby. And Marino has been hot, connecting on his last 6 passes. He's 10 of 13 overall. His 7 touchdowns for Marino in 2 games that he has thrown. And here's Morrell. And he's hit down across the 20. The Dolphins sparked up. Sean Hill on the stop. And today we are joined on the sidelines by Marianne Grabavoy. Let's go to Marianne.
Thank you, Marv. It's over 100 degrees here on the field. Temperatures rising, 70% humidity. One saving grace, every now and then there is a breeze. The Jets are worried about dehydration, and with the defensive unit on the field the first quarter for 12 and a half minutes, it's got to be a real concern. The team trainer, Joe Patton, told me that on Wednesday, each of the Jets was given a case of Gatorade to take home with them. Their homework assignment, drink 6 cans of Gatorade a night. They're trying to prevent cramping, and Marv, back to you.
All right, on the first down pass, Johnny Mitchell with the reception. That's good for 11 and a first down. Stopped by Gene Atkins. Now let's check in with Greg Gumbel for this update.
All right, Marv, we'll take you to Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Marion butts from 3 yards out. And the extra point is good. The Patriots add a field goal. They lead the Bengals 10-6, second quarter. Marvin Paul, back to you.
All right, Greg, first down for the Jets. At the 34 for the Jets, only their second first down of the half. And Esiason, who engineered 2 strong games, 2 victories against the Dolphins last season, but back to the ground. Johnny Johnson is stopped. Jets have not been able to get a running game going. They felt the running attack would improve with the return of Brad Baxter, who has been bothered by the turf toe, but the Jets over the first 2 games averaging only 3 yards per carry.
The Jets, you have to have a running game with this offense that they have here, because most of the passes that are thrown in this team, Jets, are short passes, Marvin, like 10 to 12-yard passes. So the running game really helps that kind of a passing game.
Second down, 9. At the 35, 3 minutes in, second quarter. Again to the ground. Johnson with a short pickup. And the Jets have run the ball 4 times for only 7 yards. Chris Singleton, a local New York area product out of Parsippany, New Jersey, on the stop.
But the man is Larry Webster, number 79, the defensive lineman. He gets upfield, and when he got upfield, it forced Johnny Johnson to cut back to the inside.
Defensive coordinator Tom Olivadotti looking at a third down. And this crowd very much into it. Esiason, incomplete, intended for Johnny Mitchell, covered by the strong safety, Michael Stewart, and the Jets will be forced to punt.
Johnny Mitchell was open. Stewart was there, but this ball is just a little bit overthrown. Watch to the outside. He has Stewart beat. It would have been a first down, but Boomer Esiason did have some pressure coming up the middle. He stepped up through the ball, but this is all afterwards. That's Webster, 79, throwing him on the ground.
Ryan Hansen will punt from his 22, and O.J. McDuffie is back. McDuffie, a question mark because of a knee problem, but he's been in there for both kickoffs and punts. And Hansen getting a good piece of leg into that one. It carries to the end zone. It's a 64-yard punt, but they'll bring it out to the 20. 11:03 remaining, first half. Back at Joe Robbie Stadium, Marv Albert, Paul McGuire. It's been all Miami in this first half. They have not allowed the Jets to have the football. And a first down at the 20-yard line for Miami. Here's Kirby. Kirby running his way out to the 28-yard line, stopped by Mo Lewis.
One thing talking to Don Shula the other day was the fact that he said, we have to control the football. First down is a crucial down for us, and also when they have the ball. So far, the Jets have been into a third down situation only twice, and they've stuffed them. So everything is working perfectly for Shula. So much for the makeshift defense. We have all these interchanging guys in defense, and they're doing a great job against the Jets.
10 carries, 45 yards for Kirby. It's a 2nd and 2 at the 28. And Kirby again, finding the running room and then refusing to go down. Has a first down. Free safety, Ronnie Lott made the stop.
Ronnie Lott tried to pull the ball away. He's trying to make something happen with the defense, and it's what Ronnie Lott does so well. When you see Kirby come inside, watch what Lott does. Number 42, he comes in, he tries to strip the ball. He goes down, watch him. He's pulling at the ball, almost gets that ball out. He is just trying to make something happen.
And a first down at the 34-yard line. Terry Kirby in his second year out of Virginia, out of the sideline, and replaced by Mark Higgs. A gift to Byers. A rare carry for Keith Byers. there, stopped by the right defensive tackle, Paul Fraze. For the Jets, a very intriguing way to start the season. Week number 1, they go up against Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills. They hold Buffalo to just a field goal. Week 2 last week, they faced John Elway in Denver and beat the Broncos in overtime, although the numbers of Kelly and Elway impressive, but the Jets came up with the victories. And then Dan Marino here in week number 3, and Marino with the 10 of 13 for 92 yards, and Miami just controlling the ball. Second down and 4. Higgs to the outside, trying to make the move, and just did pick it up. That's a first down.
Higgs said he loves to run against the Jets, and he always has a good day against them. And this play here, Higgs was stopped twice along the line of scrimmage, and no one tackled him. Watch the strength in Higgs, and watch his left arm. Watch the stiff arm. You're going to see it. The ball's outside. All right, Kyle Clifton, get away. Houston, get away. Let me get my first down. And he does. You know, and Marino's got to be licking his chops. He's looking out on the outside, and the cushion that both corners are giving is incredible. He's got plenty of room outside.
Defensive coordinator Greg Robinson of the Jets cannot be happy about the way the Jets have handled the Miami running game. Out of the pass, fires, and he broke a tackle. That is pushed out by Hasty. We're set for another update. Let's check in with Greg.
All right, Marv, back we go to Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Neil O'Donnell will roll out and find all kinds of time. You'll also find Eric Green 27 yards away for the touchdown, his 21st career. That's an all-time Steeler record for tight ends. They cut the Indy lead in half. It's 14-7, Marv and Paul.
Thank you, Greg. And here in Miami with 8 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the first half, the Dolphins have a 7-0 lead. In the midst of another good-looking drive, a second down and 4 for Dan Marino and Miami at midfield. Second back coming through, it's Higgs. Kurt Bauber on the stop, and we're seeing kind of a low-key first half in contrast to Jet Dolphins meetings of the past and recent years. For the most part, they have been shootouts.
Yeah, they have been shootouts because Miami didn't run the ball as well as they're running it today, and this is the whole secret to it. Miami, when they're running the football, why put the ball in the air? Why take the chance? Now, they're going to measure it. It looks like they have to get to the 45-yard line, and they're not even close to it because the markers are at the 45. But when Marino's looking up to the outside, he's seeing Hasty 10 yards off of Fryer. You see Glenn 10 yards off of Ingram. I mean, he's got to be licking his chops saying, wait a minute. But I don't have to throw the ball because I'm getting first downs on the ground.
And obviously for later on, the success of the run setting up Marino to do what he likes to do against the secondary.
We asked Fryer, you know, about the first game when he threw the ball on 4th and 5 for the touchdown to beat New England, and he said that can come at any time. All Marino does when he comes up to the line of scrimmage and he reads the defense and he sees one-on-one coverage, all he has to do is give me a look. They do a lot of things from a look from Marino to say, okay, I'm coming to you, go.
Third and about a half yard. Dean Saxon now joins Terry Kirby in the backfield. A mix-up on the handoff as Saxon is hit behind the line. Ronnie Lott soaring in to the tackle.
Yeah, there was a mix-up. They didn't block Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott just flew up inside. They had the whole offense pushed together. They didn't spread out anyone, and they allowed Ronnie Lott to come up inside. Watch this play by Lott. He gets inside. He is blitzing from the outside, makes the play on Saxon for about 4-yard loss.
And we'll see the first punt of the day by the veteran Jim Arnold. Clifford Hicks is back. Short punt. Now inside the 15-yard line with 6:37 remaining. First half, it's the Dolphins 7, Jets nothing. Mike being low-key as always, Paul.
Yeah, I wish he'd get to the point more. You know, he just kind of glosses it over.
Coming up at halftime, a chat with John Elway of the Denver Broncos. Denver and the Raiders later today in a matchup of two teams who did not think they'd be 0-2 at this point. As Jets first down at the 19. Dolphins 7 and the Jets nothing. Johnny Johnson found a hole and reaches out to the 25-yard line. Marcos Coleman made the stop. 6-yard advance for Johnson.
Mars, the offensive lineup on that last play where Ronnie Lott makes the tackle is take a look at all of the players are right here. See, so now you don't have to worry about these guys back here. Here's Ronnie Lott up on the line of scrimmage. Watch what he does. The tight end goes down, he comes up. He has no pass responsibility. He's in the backfield for a 4-yard loss.
Second down and 4 at the 25. Long count by Esiason, and again a nice hole. Johnson is stopped short of the first down by the left defensive tackle, Tim Horns. On this series, Cal Dixon has come on at center, spelling Jim Sweeney. The Jets say they will do that from time to time. Cal is out of the University of Florida. Roger Duffy, Dwayne White at the guards. Suapeli Malamala and Jeff Criswell remain at the tackles, and they do indicate a first down for Johnson. So a first down at the 29 with Sweeney taking the breather.
And this is by design, as we talked about, offensively and defensively along the line.
Esiason completing to James Thornton. Second tight end, Muhammad Oliver, who is starting at the left corner for the injured Troy Vincent, providing the coverage.
Marv, you know, we could talk about all the time of possession, all the yardage, all the things that Miami have been doing in this first half. The score is still only 7-0. One play puts this game at a tie. So all of those stats mean nothing. There's only one stat that really counts, and that's that score.
Jets now looking at a 2nd and 2. Rob Moore to the right. Art Monk to the left. 4:45 remaining in the half. There's Johnson running well. Johnny Johnson lanes ahead for the first down. The free safety, Gene Atkins, on the stop. Johnson running for 9.
James Thornton got an excellent block on Chris Singleton on the outside, and he enabled the play to work. Thornton comes down the line of scrimmage. He's in motion, and after the motion, you'll see number 80, boom, right to the outside. Singleton goes away. Johnson picks up the first down. The Jets are now on a drive.
They have the first down at their 46. Johnson again. Johnson is running well. Jeff Cross made the tackle. Jeff Cross had an excellent game last week against Green Bay. A couple of sacks last season. Led Miami with 10.5 sacks.
Jeff Cross is, without a doubt, their best defensive lineman. Malamala, watch him get to the outside. Cross has got him straight up in the air. He's reading, gets rid of the tackle, and makes the tackle.
Jeff telling us after practice the other day, his fresh legs did not play much during preseason because of a pulled calf muscle, and he says he's ready to go, and he has certainly shown that. Second down and 4 at the 48. Esiason with the time and completes to the tight end, Mitchell, for a first down. Mitchell hit down by Beavers.
Boy, did he have the time. And Chris Singleton gets in late and hits Boomer Esiason after the play. But the time that he has to throw the ball. Watch Boomer Esiason, number 7, in the pocket. Singleton's coming out 55 on the outside. Blocked down on the ground by Johnny Johnson. Gets back up. But by that time, Boomer gets the pass off for the first down. All right, Thornton, I'm talking about, is number 80 coming across. What happens? Excuse me. Hello. That was Mr. Cox said, Thornton, that's a 5-yard area. I can hit you.
7th play of the drive. Adrian Morrell is checked in. And the pass is dropped. Now, are they saying that he had possession? If they do, it is a fumble and a recovery. Or was it picked off? Aubrey Beavers apparently able to get to the football. The officials are discussing it. Was it picked off cleanly off the hands?
What they're saying, now they're down there talking about this. Where I'm saying that this ball hit the ground. Now, it's got to be united. They're calling. They say that this ball did not hit the ground. it comes. Beavers is the guy, 53. Mitchell bobbles. Now, where's the ball? Is it on the ground? No. Beavers just grabs it in his hand. What a nice play by Aubrey Beavers. Here it comes. This will be probably a better look at it. The ball goes up, it bounces up. Watch this. Watch his hands. Keep it off the ground. Bing, grabs it, and pulls it into his chest. Great interception.
Off the interception by Aubrey Beavers. Dolphins with the ball on first down as Marino tried to hit Irving Fryer, covered by the combination of Aaron Glenn and Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott gets over and in a hurry. This is experience because we know he doesn't have great speed, but you could see number 42, Ronnie Lott, just playing ball. He hits Fryer in the air afterwards. He knows he can't make the interception. Why not hit him?
And there is a rookie from Oklahoma, Aubrey Beavers. Second-round draft pick, came up with his first career interception wearing number 53. Number worn by the late Bob Matheson, who passed away earlier this month after a long battle with Hodgkin's disease. Going incomplete. Bob Matheson, part of that 53 defense. 53, his uniform number. And that's where the name 53 defense came from. It helped carry the Dolphins to 3 consecutive Super Bowls from 1971 through 73.
You know, one of the things about Boomer Esiason, in all fairness to him, last week he had 2 interceptions, both tipped. This interception here, tipped by Mitchell. That's for bad luck, he wouldn't have it.
Third down and 10 after 31. Off the screen, Kirby. A lateral to Fryer. And Loggeman finally made the stop. It's good for 27 yards.
What a great screen pass. And Kirby had a blocker in front. Watch Kirby once he catches the ball. He's going to direct the guys in front of him. All right, let's get moving. Dellenbach is the guy 65. But when he gets to the sidelines, these guys are now having fun because watch what Kirby does. Here, Irving, it's yours for a while. I ran this far. Now you get the touchdown. Nice play. Heads up play. We're getting into 2 minutes.
First down of the Jet 43, and now there is the indication for the 2-minute warning. Miami with a 7-0 lead on the Jets.
Craig Gumbel in New York at Pittsburgh. Barry Foster over the 100-yard mark already today. This for 29 yards and a touchdown. The extra point ties the game in Pittsburgh between the Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. They're 14 apiece. Let's go back to Marv Albert and Paul McGuire in Miami.
Thank you, Greg. And coming up, the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Greg and Mike Ditka, bringing you all the news and scores and highlights, plus a feature on Denver quarterback John Elway. An uncharacteristic low-scoring first half between the Jets and the Dolphins. Attempt incomplete. Fryer try to scoop it. Aaron Glenn on the coverage. It'll be a 2nd down and 10 for the Dolphins at the 43-yard line with 1 minute and 55 to go. First half.
Marino is looking and saying a few things. Now, we asked Kirby about, does he yell? He said, does he yell? He said he yells at everybody, not just receivers. He yells at linemen. If you don't do the right thing, even if he's wrong, he yells at you. And that time, Fryer should have been back closer. He's got enough time to let Keith Jackson get open in the middle.
12 of 18, 126 yards. Taking a long look. Close to the middle. For the first down, there you go, Paul. To the tight end, Keith Jackson for 14 yards.
He does have the time. See, Keith Jackson goes down there in that zone, and he hooks up. He does it as well as anyone does. He hooks up in the open area.
Miami now in a hurry up with 1:30 remaining in the half. Inside for Byers, and he was hit behind the line. James Hasty with the good tackle.
I think it's time to take a timeout here.
James Hasty, a target of John Elway last week, very upset. And looking to turn it around here this afternoon. As James Hasty was just talking about James trying to come back from tough performance last week against the Broncos, and he has been an excellent quarterback over a 7-year career, but he was not talking to anyone, teammates, media, just concentrating on today's game.
He's got a sweatshirt on. I wonder, is he warm up? You know? Must be really cold down there.
Injury report on Bill Patel, a sprained ankle. Questionable as far as his return. Mark Gunn was told sprained elbow, which will require x-rays. And Marino able to complete to Ingram, who was taken down by Glenn. That is short of a first down. Clock is running as we come up on 1 minute remaining in the half. It'll be a 3rd and 2 at the Jet 21. Dolphins 7 and the Jets nothing. The swing pass to Bowers. And the first down, and that stops the clock. Taken out by Glenn.
Now you wonder in that first quarter, when they had that long drive by Miami, they threw the ball at Jackson in the middle. It was intercepted by Mo Lewis. But take a look at Byers. Here he comes out again. We saw this earlier. He comes out. There's nobody there. Now, I know Glenn is releasing and coming back up inside. If he doesn't make this tackle, it's touchdown. But it's just hard for me to believe. They're trying to shore up in the middle to keep Jackson out of the middle. Keep Jackson. And they're letting the backs get out into the flat.
That's the 9th play of the drive. Fryer right. And Marino throwing end zone. Intended for Ingram. Covered by Hasty.
Kirby is looking back at the bench saying, hey, you know, I'm out here by myself, and Marino's not throwing the ball to me. Now, Kirby, and now he's back there talking to Marino. He says, hey, I was open. Marino said, yeah, now get in the huddle. I'll get you in a minute. Got some other guys who want to throw to first.
15 of 22, 159 yards. At one point, when he was hobbling with his cast, he had gone up to 250 pounds. He is now back to a svelte 224. And Marino able to connect with Byers and a touchdown. Byers beating Clifton, going 11. 11-yard touchdown pass play, and the Dolphins have a 13-0 lead.
I'm going to tell you something, Mark. I don't care who would have been covering Byers on that play. There was absolutely no way that anyone can knock this ball down. Where the ball is thrown, it's thrown low to the outside. And when you take a look at Byers coming out of this backfield, it is absolutely incredible. Watch where the ball is thrown. To the outside and low. No place for Kyle Clifton to get to, and it's touchdown. That was easy.
Romano will hold. Pete Stoyanovich attempting the extra point. Out of 36 seconds remaining in the half. And the Dolphins take a 14-0 lead. Miami goes 10 plays, 69 yards, in a minute and 51 for the touchdown.
I just want you to see here, just take a look at, here's Clifton, he's on the inside, but watch where the ball is. Look at right down by the knees, away from Kyle Clifton. He is right here, he is so far away, there's just no chance to get Byers. And now it's touchdown. He can't throw the ball any better. Marino knows he threw it very well. Put your arms up. Just one this time. That's enough.
So for Dan Marino's 8th touchdown of the season, number 306 for his career.
He will pass Tarkington. Just a matter of whether it's this year or next year.
And remember, Paul, he was off to a terrific start last season. 8 touchdowns, first 4.5 games. Keith Byers shaken up, or perhaps the heat getting to him.
It was the heat. He got back and he had cramps in his legs and he was laying on the ground. They're not going to, even if they get the ball back, he's not going to be in the ball game. Get him into the locker room and get some fluids into him.
Miami Dolphins have had the football for 20 minutes of this first half. They have dominated. They have kept the Jet offense off the field. We're down to 36 seconds remaining in the half. And the Dolphins lead 14-0. The kickoff from Stoyanovich. And Morrell lets it go. Well, the Jets will start out at the 20. Tomorrow night, it will be a comedy blitz ball with the special one-hour season premiere of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Then following the Fresh Prince, it'll be ER, a 2-hour movie preview. That's all tomorrow night. That'll be 9 Eastern time. So a night of premieres tomorrow evening here on NBC. First out at the 20. Syerson puts Johnson off the screen. Out of bounds.
Oh, Cox hits him out of bounds. 15 yards more. You know, I'm sorry. This guy does some dumb things. And this is one of them. I mean, there's just no reason to hit Johnny Johnson on this play.
For a late hit out of bounds, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
Don Shula telling us yesterday that he would like to see Brian Cox playing under control, but it just hasn't happened. Threw his helmet last week in the game against Green Bay.
Well, he's so far out of bounds, it's like 3 yards. But what Cox just did is he went back into the New York huddle and patted Johnny Johnson and said, hey, I'm sorry. But it's too late.
So it is a first down for the Jets at the Miami 41-yard line. It's good for 39 yards in all, 24 on the play, and then 15 on the penalty. And here's Syerson throwing short, intended for Mitchell.
One guy that Syerson has not thrown the ball to today is Art Monk. He has not caught a pass so far, and he's got a pretty good streak going, I would say.
And Monk with 4 catches last week against Denver, including a clutch play in overtime that helped set up the field goal. And Rob Moore with only 1 reception, but the Jets have not had the ball very much, and they try to establish a running game. 22 seconds to go, first half. Syerson stepping up and throwing deep. Intended for Mitchell. Oliver and Green on the coverage.
Brian Cox almost gets to Boomer Esiason, but Esiason steps up inside, and Johnny Mitchell is running down the middle. He wasn't free, but here comes Cox. Watch this. He almost gets to Boomer. He gets a hand on him. Boomer comes back up inside and then lays it down the field. Just a little bit too far. Mitchell, 86, is going to go right down through the defense. He's streaking right down the middle of the field. He splits the defense beautifully. The pass, if it's a yard shorter, it could have been a touchdown.
3rd and 10 at the Miami 41. 15 seconds to go in the half. Syerson looks to get it away, and it is intercepted. Darryl Malone, an extra defensive back in his 3rd year from Jacksonville State. Guy's been hobbling all week long. A question mark for today. Comes up with his first interception.
All right, this interception is Boomer's fault. What he's trying to do is not take the sack and get them out of at least field goal position. Watch what Boomer does. It's going to be on the outside. Marco Coleman, a 90, is the guy. But when you see the play here, this is at the end of the play. But Boomer Esiason is trying not to take a sack. He is just trying to throw the ball away, get something to happen. Watch this. There's Coleman, 90. He's on the ground. He's got Boomer. He's just trying not to take the sack back there. That takes him out, completely out of field goal range, and he throws the ball for the interception. Heads-up play by the defense.
Paul, how about this banged-up Miami defensive unit pitching a shutout in this first half?
They forgot to tell the defensive secondary they're banged up.
But the primary reason is the offense has been able to hold on to the ball. There's a flag thrown. And it is incomplete with 1 second. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Fryer with the catch.
But there's a flag on the play now. Whether it's movement by the offense, I don't know.
Only 1 second remaining
With 7 seconds left to go, Marino with the ball at the 35.
Number 95, offside. Penalty is refused. First down.
I mean, you're at the 35-yard line coming out. 7 seconds left to go. Marino's throwing down the field. He wants another one.
Alfred Oglesby, the one-time Dolphin, called on that penalty.
All right, here's the fire to the outside. Watch his feet. They're there. He's got control of the ball. That's outstanding.
Well, he was. They have control in bounds.
Miami, that's their first second team timeout. There'll be a 30-second timeout.
Well, the Dolphins calling for time, and they are inserting Pete Stoyanovich. Now, the ball is at the Jet 45-yard line.
62 or 63, depending on where they mark it. And what you do in a situation like this, because this field goal is a lot longer, you want it, instead of the normal 7 yards, they like to get it back about 8 yards. To give them that extra yard, even though it's further away, they need that much more time to make the connection. So they are going back 8 yards.
NFL record, 63 yards by Tom Dempsey. Stoyanovich once kicked a 59-yarder. This looks to be in the area of 62 or 63. Here it is by Stoyanovich, but way off the mark. And Stoyanovich and Arnold discussing it. But for Miami, an outstanding first half. They lead the Jets 14-0. Now to Greg Gumbel and the Domino's Pizza NFL Live. Back at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, Marv Albert with Paul McGuire. 14-0 Dolphin lead over the Jets. Superb first half for Dan Marino, and the Dolphins would not let the Jets have the football. Dolphins had it for nearly 21 minutes of the first half.
Isn't it amazing? We've only been to 3 games in the season, and every time we talk to the coach, either Friday or Saturday before the game, they say the one thing you have to do to win the football game, they say control the football. Well, Miami's controlling the football, and they're up 14-0. That's what they have to do, is control the ball.
All right, let's take a look at the first half stats. The Coors Light halftime statistics. Marino 17 of 24, 189 yards, and 17 first downs for the Dolphins, only 7 for the Jets.
When you look at the 2 turnovers, the one at the end, the Dolphins tried a long field, it didn't count. But the first turnover, Boomer Esiason throws the ball to Mitchell, bobbles the ball. That really wasn't Esiason's fault.
Stoyanovich kicking it off to the combination of Anderson and Hicks, Clifford Hicks, on the return. And he's taken down across the 20, and a penalty marker is also on the field. Darryl Malone made the stop. Clifford Hicks, usually the punt return man, replacing Adrian Morrell as a kick return man. The Dolphins claiming the penalty against the
Holding
Jets.
number 50 on the receiving team during the return. 10 yards from the end of the run, first down.
So it's called on Glenn Cadrez. And the Jets are headed to the offense. Right now, let's check in with Marianne Grabavoy. Marianne?
Thank you, Marv. I spoke to Don Shula at halftime. In essence, he said, it's payback time. We're doing to the Jets what they've been doing to us in the past few games. We're controlling the ball. We're staying on the field. He credited his offensive line, said Marino was making some good choices. He was very pleased with the good balance. The running game was established in the first quarter. It opened up the passing game in the second quarter. Marv, back to you.
Hi, Marianne. Yes, the Jets have won 5 of the last 6 against the Dolphins. Johnny Johnson gets the call, and he's swallowed up by a group of Dolphins led by the outside linebacker, Chris Singleton.
Well, you got to take a look at it. Possessions really tell you the story, and the whole thing of this is take a look at the number of plays. 5, 4, and the one time they had 7 plays, that was the first interception when Johnny Mitchell bobbled the ball, and they were on a drive. And then you start out, you get the ball in the second half, you get a pretty good return, and you end up back inside the 15-yard line.
Second down and 7. That's just inside the 15. Esiason to the sideline and broken up. Intended for more, Muhammad Oliver, who is considered to be the best athlete on the Dolphin roster, made the play. A leaping back by Oliver.
Well, I said, look, and he sees the blitz coming. He just throws the ball up in the air, and he has to throw it up over the linebacker, which Rob Moore really doesn't have a chance to get the ball. Oliver now has a jump on the ball because it's floating out there. Just a nice play. Moore had the ball in his hands. I think if he had not had the cast on him, might have been able to grab the ball.
Oliver, a guy who can high jump 7 feet or better, ranked 6th in the decathlon in the United States, has his heart set on competing in the Olympics in Atlanta. That was nearly intercepted. Intended for Moore, and Sean Hill saw it float through his hands. Quickie Surrey's for the Jets, and they will be forced to punt.
Boy, you don't need this. 3 and out. You run off 56 seconds is all you run off on the clock, and you've got to give the ball back. And Miami will get the ball in very good field position. And that time, I don't know if Rob Moore stopped or not coming in because the ball was thrown wide, and it wasn't even close.
Third punt of the day for Brian Hansen. His last one went 64 yards, but carried into the end zone. A.J. McDuffie is back at his 42.
Good kick.
That's another good one for Hansen. And here's McDuffie. Nowhere to go. A 53-yard punt by Hansen. Only a 1-yard return. Well, Minnesota over Chicago 20-0. Buffalo with that 9-0 lead. Green Bay 7, Philadelphia 3. Pittsburgh now by 3 over Indianapolis. Cleveland with that 3-0 lead. Jim McMahon, the starter at quarterback. New England and Cincinnati are tied at 13. And Everett went down.
3-0 at Cleveland again. There's an offensive explosion.
James Saxon in the backfield. Saw Keith Byers head off, affected by the heat. They say he will be available. The heat getting to Keith at the end of that to stop.
Gene Atkins, I feel sorry for him because his leg isn't 100%. Watch the move that Johnny Johnson makes on him. Right here, Gene Atkins. I'll see you. He goes outside. Johnson inside. First down.
Yes, last week, Atkins sprained his right hamstring. Very first surge against Green Bay. He's giving it a shot. He's gone the distance. Adrian Morrell now in the backfield, replacing Johnny Johnson. First down at the Dolphins 30-yard line. Morrell. And Adrian Morrell breaking tackles. Brian Cox on the stop. First carry for Morrell. He goes for 4. Adrian Morrell, very elusive runner in the second season out of West Virginia, provides a change of pace in the backfield for the Jets.
I would say this is a very interesting play that they ran because they had Rob Moore in motion. He comes down to block on Michael Stewart, who is a strong safety with a bad arm. Rob was telling us he really has a major problem with that arm because once he catches the ball, he really can't do much after that.
Now have Morrell and Anderson in the backfield, but the Jets call for time with 10:50 to go, third quarter, and the Dolphins up 14-0.
Marv, this is what I was talking about Rob Moore blocking. Watch him block away from his left arm. He's going to try to get his right arm in there. Look at this. At least he tried. At least he tried to throw the block, Marv.
Rob playing despite the fractured left wrist. And he has been playing brilliantly. Second down and about 7. Down at the 27. End around fake. And Esiason throws deep. Touchdown! Richie Anderson off the beautiful fake on the end around to Rob Moore. A 27-yard touchdown play. Gene Atkins, the man who was beaten by Richie Anderson.
Richie Anderson, it's a good thing that Boomer had the time. He fakes to Rob Moore on the reverse, on the end around, and it gives him the time for Anderson to beat Atkins. Now watch this. He steps up. Look what this ball is throwing. Up over the shoulder. Atkins really had no chance. Anderson, superb catch, touchdown. They're back in the game.
And now Nick Lowry, the overtime hero from last week, getting set to kick the extra point. And Miami now leads the Jets 14-7.
Boomer just lays this ball out. Anderson up over the top, touchdown. Very pretty. Very pretty.
Richie Anderson with his second touchdown of the season. Paul McGuire from Joe Robbie, where the Miami Dolphins have a 14-7 lead on the New York Jets. Real doubleheader in the New York area, where viewers will see a twin bill, Miami, Minnesota, San Diego Raiders. We suggest you check your local listings for the game in your area.
See Mr. Bledsoe for the first time.
This will be at the Silver Dome for New England.
And one of the better running backs in the league, Barry Sanders. Boy, he's something.
Mike Williams and O.J. McDuffie are back. Mike Williams playing with a pulled hamstring, and McDuffie hanging in despite the knee problem. 10:42 to go in this third quarter. A matchup of the 2-0 Dolphins and the 2-0 Jets. Return by McDuffie. Gets to the outside. And is finally pushed out of bounds. Nice kick return for 34 yards.
Reno has been very effective out of the shotgun, Marv. I think, 10 out of 11 out of the shotgun. That's completions. And that's where he really, I think he's most effective, is back there where he just oversees everything.
The Dolphins effective with the running game, the absence of Marvin Jones in the middle certainly might be contributing to that. Jones out with a sprained ankle. And it is back to the ground. Kirby finding room. Kirby taken down at the 30 in Jet territory. Hasty and Washington wrestle him down. It's a 30-yard run for Terry Kirby.
How strong is Terry Kirby? You know, when he comes out, when he gets to the 40-yard line, that's when they really gang up on this guy, and he takes the ball down inside the 30. Watch Kirby. Here he comes up on about the 40-yard line here, and Washington's there. Watch this, and he just keeps dragging people. 5, 10. That's a great run.
Now Bernie Parmalee has come onto the backfield for the first time. Run the longest in the NFL career of Kirby. This is Parmalee. Stopped by Lewis. Kirby with 14 carries and 83 yards. We are set for an update. Let's go to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv, Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. Jim Harbaugh to Sean Dawkins. 19 yards and a touchdown. The Colts have regained the lead over the Steelers. Third quarter, it's 21-17 Indy. Marv?
9 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 6. Off the wall. Beautiful fake. And then Marino completes the title. Keith Jackson. For the touchdown. The Dolphins have gone lateral crazy here today.
It just shows you the kind of heads-up football that this team plays. You know what Ronnie Lott said to us yesterday? If you notice, the Miami Dolphins win earlier in the season. You know why? Because they are very well coached. And these are things that Shula has allowed these players to do. Jackson makes a catch. He's headed for the goal line. He stopped. The ability to turn around, find an open man, Fryer for the touchdown.
To the day for Keith Jackson. Stoyanovich adds the extra point, and the Dolphins lead 21-7. One of the quicker drives of the game for the Dolphins. A minute and 50 consumed, and it concludes with the touchdown pass. Keith Jackson making his 6th catch of the day, and then the lateral to Irving Fryer. So Dan Marino, who celebrated his 33rd birthday this past Thursday, having another very strong performance. Also Pete Carroll's birthday Thursday, and you celebrated a birthday, I guess, Friday night.
Yes, which was in August. It's still not August?
23-yard pass play from Marino. Second touchdown of the day. Thrown by Dan Marino. He has 9 for the season. Dolphins up 21-7 over the Jets. Hicks on the return. Hammered down as he crossed the 20-yard line. Again, excellent coverage led by Deion Fox, one of the Dolphins' backup linebackers.
All right, here, I want you to take a look here. This is Lageman, and this is Heller. When Heller comes down, Lageman goes with him, and when Marino comes out, there's nobody there. Watch. There goes Lageman down inside. When Marino comes out, he just surveys. Jackson is coming across the middle. He sees him wide open, hits him with the ball, and then Jackson, the little flip. After he's hit, he flips it back to Irving Fryer, and he walks home.
The Jets start out at their 21. Syosset put down, but he was stripped of the ball. And the Jets have recovered. Dwayne White able to cover up, but Jeff Cross making the move on Boomer Esiason. That's the first sack of the day, and for Cross, his 3rd of the season.
Boomer Esiason is just standing in there too long. The offensive line just couldn't hold out that long. And then Jeff Cross comes in, left-hand side of your screen. It's the backside of Boomer Esiason. He's looking over there. Cross is there. He tries to pull the ball down. The Cross rips it out. Klingbeil almost had it, but the Jets get it back.
2nd and 23, back of the 8. The sidearm delivery for Johnson. Cannot find it. Chris Singleton, number 55, making the tackle on Johnny Johnson.
Marv, this is just outstanding play by Singleton, the linebacker. He is the guy that's got Johnny Johnson. Watch this. Johnson catches. Here comes the linebacker. Fights off the block and just steps up. Cal Dixon, number 52, does not make the block, and Singleton makes the tackle.
Singleton, a guy began last year with New England, was waived, signed with Miami, became the only player in NFL history to play in 17 regular season games. 3rd and 26, back at the 5. And Esiason completing to Monk. For Monk, his first catch of the day. J.B. Brown on the tackle, but it is short of the first down. Ron Monk now has caught a pass in 167 straight games as he chases down Steve Largent. But it is 2 yards short of a first down, and the punting unit comes on.
And you will not see the Miami Dolphins sit on the ball because they know that the Jets can come back in any ball game because it happens to these two teams. That's what we're talking to Ronnie Luttis. Is there any lead that's big enough for against Marino? He said absolutely not.
O.J. McDuffie is back. He popped from Hanson. And McDuffie is turned around and hauled down by Marcus Turner. 49-yard punt. So with 6:24 remaining in the third, it's the Dolphins 21, Jets 7.
When we look at that touchdown, you watch Marino. He gets the ball to Jackson. Jackson takes a pounding. 4 guys, 2 there. And then 2 more here, 3 more, that's 5. And then watch this. Fryer, thank you, I'll get the glory and walk in. Yes. My 6, you take the beating.
And the Dolphins go to the ground. Terry Kirby, who has had a splendid day, stopped by Brian Washington. Pushing and shoving after the play. And check this out, Miami has certainly owned the football, although the Jets were allowed to come back into it, cutting to a 14-7 lead. It's now 21-7, but 352 total yards for Miami to 193 for the Jets.
Still 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. So we got 21 minutes to go.
And Marino, 19 of 26, 249 yards. And the Dolphins have done it on the ground. That has been a major factor. Second down. Completed to Byers. Clifton and Lewis combine to make the stop. And let's check in now for another update. Here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv in Cincinnati. Take a look at what happened. Steve Broussard, 8 yards for his second of the game. With the extra point, the Bengals have taken the lead on New England. 20-19, 5 minutes to play in the third, Marv.
Well, every week the Patriots seem to be involved in a wild one. First 2 did not go their way.
You read it, Parcells has got the #1 offense in the league and the worst defense. That's not a Parcells team.
Third and 2 for the Dolphins. All the quick release and a beautiful catch made by Scott Miller. That's his first reception of the day. He was covered by Aaron Glenn. Scott Miller in his 4th year out of UCLA with a diving reception.
Watch where he takes this ball off the dirt. Here it comes. Down low, inside. Defender has no chance. Miller goes down, puts his body between the ball and the ground, and makes the catch. Here it is from this side, which is a pretty view of it. Look at his body is there. He's got the ball. That is a catch. Yes, it's a catch.
And a first down at the 38-yard line. Tell you, Pete Carroll and defensive coordinator Greg Robinson will not be pleased about the poor tackling on the part of the Jets here this afternoon.
He won't be, and you made a point earlier. You know, one of the biggest problems for the Jets, Marvin Jones not being in there. Now, that is poor tackling, Washington. But he did hold up the ball carrier. The other problem is no one was there in pursuit to help him out with the play. He was in the backfield, got a piece of the runner, Kirby, and didn't get any help from anyone. Marvin Jones means an awful lot to this team against the run.
100 yards for Kirby off that 16-yard run. That's the first time he's hit 100. And here's Parmalee trying to go to the outside, and then he's brought down. Ronnie Lott and Glenn Cudrez combining. Cudrez has come on, now replacing Clifton, playing with Houston and Lewis.
Marvin Washington misses the tackle. Here it comes, Parmalee to the outside. Stiff arms him right here. Look at this, on the ground. That's a missed tackle. Dredge makes the play along with Ronnie Lott, who happens to be all over the field. He doesn't miss many.
And behind that yard line marker, not Hunter not so far, but injured Marvin Jones out with his sprained ankle. Second down and 15. Marino's pass incomplete. Complete on the coverage of Irving Fryer.
Hey, Marino is back back there running for his life, and then he points, and here he comes up to say, "Look, I'm going to throw. You got to come back. You got to come back to the ball. Come back to the ball. You make some great catches. Here, let me talk to you for a second. Let me explain how this route goes. I throw, you come back. I love it. He does. He does. Like Kirby says, he has no favorites who he picks on. He picks on everybody.
Oh, it is constructed to the point. It's a 3rd and 15. It's completed this time to Fryer. Try to stiff on his way, but Hasty able to get him out of bounds. And it is a 4th down play, and the punting unit check in. Here comes Jim Arnold for the 2nd time.
Number 6.
Down to 2:27 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Miami with a 21-7 lead on the Jets. New York Jets have not opened at 3-0 since back in 1966, their 6th season in existence. This is the first time they are 2-0 since 1987. Different hits, giving a whole lot of 32-yard punt. And we're down to 2 minutes remaining in this 3rd quarter. Well, tonight, the 2-hour season premiere of Sequest. Roy Scheider and Sequest tonight at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on NBC.
I'll be in the air at that time. No, I may have missed it, but I'm taping it at home.
So the Jets start out from the 12-yard line. And again, the Dolphins defense urged on by the crowd. Jets open up double tight end with Mitchell and Thornton. Johnson. Not able to get going. Jeff Cross threw him back.
We saw Jeff Cross Friday talking to him. I really believe this guy could play without pads. He's the biggest thing I've seen. Watch Cross. He comes upfield. It's a half double team. He just, Mala breaks to the outside. He breaks his block and makes the tackle.
Johnson stopped at the line. It's a 2nd and 10 from the 12. Swing pass for Johnson. Nice moves for the 1st down. Johnny Johnson working his way and then tripped up by Atkins. He went for 12. Once again, let's check in with Greg Gumbel.
Marvin Paul, where there are Patriots, there are fireworks. Drew Bledsoe, 35 yards to Michael Timpson with a terrific catch at the goal line. They missed the 2-point conversion attempt. The Patriots lead it 25-20 in the 3rd quarter. Marv, back to you.
Rick Parcells going for 2.
For that 2-point conversion, there's some great scores this year. You know what?
Gets off that 1st down out the 24-yard line. 40 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Johnson with a short pickup. Greg Vesey, Jeff Cross combined. Make the stop. The old ice on the head technique.
It really feels good as that water drips down your neck. You ever notice the guys that are normally by the fan? Some of these guys aren't even playing. Washington's got some late mail.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. The Dolphins 21, the Jets 7. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Miami with a 21-7 lead on the Jets as this 4th quarter gets underway. 2nd down and 8 from the 26-yard line. Esiason able to step up. It's incomplete, intended for more. I tell you, defensive coordinator Tom Olivadotti with the unpleasant task last week against Green Bay, having to shuffle the defense, and they came up very strong against the Packers. He's done the same thing here today with a Jet squad going up against a battered Miami defensive unit.
Well, you know, the one thing he told us last year, he said he had some guys injured, and he tried to protect them. In other words, he had people trying to help out. He said, I'm not doing that anymore. These guys have got to learn. I've got to put them out there. I've got to let them play. And so far, they have really done the job. We've got to give him an awful lot of credit.
Another factor, though, the Dolphins have kept the Jet offense off the field. Nice play by Anderson, able to follow the deflection. That's Stevie Anderson on his first reception of the day for a first down. He was taken down by Sean Hill.
What an outstanding play by Anderson. Now, I mean, this guy, it gets hit. Watch this. The ball is there. It's up in the air. Watch. He takes a full spin, keeps his eye on the ball, total concentration, and picks up the first down. Doesn't get any better than that, folks.
Stevie Anderson, a first-year player from Grambling, had a strong preseason, worked his way from the practice squad to a regular spot. Swing pass. Adrian Morrell running well. Adrian Morrell able to break through for another catch. First down. He went for 19 yards. Brian Cox making the tackle.
Talked about the Jets missing some tackles. Watch Morrell. He makes his play on the outside. It looks like he does a simple flare pass to the outside. And watch the missed tackles. 1-2. And finally, Cox makes the play. But it just looked like it's just a simple flare pass to the outside, covered very easily. Not so.
That's first down at the Dolphin 40. Minute and a half gone by in the fourth quarter. Morrell with a short pickup. Boomer Esiason trying to mix things up. Boomer now 13 for 23, 187 yards, one touchdown, but intercepted twice.
Now they go to the double tight end with two wideouts and only one back in the backfield, which will be Morrell.
Second and about 6. Look to be looking around with Stewart behind him.
I tell you, Boomer Esiason is so upset with this play because he hits Mitchell in the hands. Remember, Mitchell in the first half was the guy that bobbled the ball and caused an interception. And here he comes. Watch this ball. I mean, this play is designed. You need this ball right now. It is a little bit behind, yes, but he's not watching the ball. Boomer is really beside him. Look at this. Come on. I can throw it. I can't catch it. Catch the ball.
Third and 6 at the Dolphin 36.
This is 4-down territory, Mark.
Looking for Martin. Intercepted. J.B. Brown puts it over. Just on the roll was blocked and runs it out. Esiason was looking for Art Monk all the way.
He waited too long to throw the ball, and J.B. Brown was there. What a great defensive play by J.B. Brown, but when he converts now to an offensive guy, here it is, you're right, he's looking at Monk all the way. Brown, now he releases from Monk, steps up inside, but watch now he becomes an offensive player. Look at the moves he makes, and he brings the ball back inside the 50, inside the 45-yard line.
33-yard return by Brown.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the Optima Truth Race Card from American Express. By your gas industry. Clean, economical, natural gas. Think what you save. By Compact, makers of the Contura Aero. So light and portable you'll never be tempted to leave it behind. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet. Keep on moving.
Sign for the Jets. Boomer Esiason picked off for the third time today, and Paul, that's 5 interceptions the last 2 weeks. So Miami goes to the ground on the first down play. Fires. Stopped by Lageman. We're down to 12.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Dolphins with a 21-7 lead on the Jets stat line on Boomer, who is not a happy guy as you'd expect. 13 of 25, the big number, 3 interceptions.
Isn't it amazing? The play before he throws the interception as Mitchell is wide open across the middle. Would have been a first down, probably a lot more, and the guy drops the ball. You turn back on going on the third down, try to make something happen, and bang, you throw an interception.
Miami second and 4 at the Jet 36-yard line. There's Parmalee. There's the first down. Bernie Parmalee out of Jersey City, New Jersey, primarily a special teams player, but getting the playing time. Mark Higgs not effective earlier, and Irving Spikes is out with a knee problem.
And it doesn't make any difference now who runs the football because the offensive line is in control. Not only pass protection, but also running the football. And when they're doing that, that gives the offensive backs all the confidence in the world. They know the holes are going to be there. They're heading right at it.
Ingram to the right and Pryor left. First down at the Jet 29. This time the hit is made on Parmalee, picked up just a couple. And we have a scrap breaking out downfield. And the officials able to break it up. Looked like Big Widener got involved.
It's on 11. It's in my home, Eden, New York. Burt,
the right guard in his 5th season at Kent State, and despite Paul's presence, has remained in the neighborhood in the offseason.
Now, one thing about Marino in the shotgun, if he goes to the shotgun, listen to this, folks. He's 13 out of 14 from the shotgun for 157 yards and 1 touchdown. So he's more effective in the shotgun than he is up under center. Where is he? Under center.
They took Widener out now as Houston Hoover comes on at right guard. Nice move by Parmalee. Bernie Parmalee hearing the cheers from the crowd.
You know the nice thing about Parmalee, which you said was a great move. Here's a guy that's going to the outside, and he's looking at his offense blocking, and he sees, wait a minute, there's only so far I can go. Now let's take it up in the middle and pick up some yardage. Here comes Parmalee. When he comes out, I want you to hold it right here. Stop here. Now watch what he does. He comes right back in here because he knows that he can't get outside. Now I got to pick up whatever I can. So what he picked up was 7 yards.
And it brings up a third down and 3. Bernie Parmalee handling the ball today for the first time this season. Complete. He fires. Bangs his way for a first down. It'll be a 1st and goal for Miami. Hasty on the stop, but the pass play good for 14 yards.
Keith Byers has done it all today, and Reno, I mean, when he looks out here, he looks off, throws out to Byers. Byers, really nobody covering him. There is nobody. Washington was there. Hasty finally comes up, but that's not his man. Byers comes out into the flat, and they've been just playing catch most of the day.
6th catch of the day for a man who has certainly been affected by the heat. 1st and goal at the 8. Parmalee stutter steps his way and is hit down at the 5. Ronnie Lott involved along with Mo Lewis in stopping Bernie Parmalee.
Ronnie Lott gets up on that line of scrimmage. Now he knows they're going to run the football, so he cheats. And when he cheats, he's along the line of scrimmage. You're going to see the play by Ronnie Lott. Parmalee's going to cut back inside and watch the guy that comes up. Mo Lewis is there, and here comes Lott. Bang! Lott is very, very strong and very smart. Mo Lewis is there, but Lott is the guy that puts the finishing touches on. Right here. Bing!
It's the 7th play of the drive. 2nd and goal. Out of the 5, and Dan Marino calls for time with 8 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter, and Miami in front, 21-7.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's now. Buy a large 2-topping crunchy thin crust pizza, and we'll give you a medium pizza free.
Well, a 93-degree day in Miami, as you can see from Paul's appearance.
Yeah.
Dan Marino, though, not affected by the heat, has had an outstanding game. 23 for 31, 289 yards.
The other thing, too, is 8 for 8 on third down situations, and that's where you really have to stop Marino and the Jets. They stopped the Jets on third down, but they haven't been able to stop Miami.
And it's a second and goal at the 5. 8 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Off the pitch. Parmalee, 5-yard run and takes the ball. So the Dolphins extend to a 27-7 lead.
And the offense, the backs, the quarterback, Marino, the receivers, take the offensive line to dinner because these guys have earned it. They have done a tremendous job against the Jet defense.
And that is the second touchdown in the NFL career of Bernie Parmalee, his first on the ground. Stoyanovich putting it through. Dolphins now lead 28-7.
Watch the blocking, Marv. It's just absolutely superb.
Parmalee takes it in with 7:55 left in the fourth. He is a product of Jersey City, New Jersey. Bernie Parmalee grew up following the Jets and the Giants. 4-year starter at Ball State. Graduated as the school's all-time leading rusher and has done an excellent job coming off the bench. Adrian Morrell on the kickoff return. Morrell, a nice return across the 35-yard line with 7:42 remaining. In this fourth quarter, Miami with a 28-7 lead. Look at the Dolphins' schedule coming up 3 straight on the road, beginning next Sunday at Minnesota. And Minnesota winning big this afternoon. And one of the big games next week here on the NBC lineup. That'll be an early game later on. San Diego and the LA Raiders, New England playing at Detroit, Cincinnati, and Houston. Next Sunday night, the Jets will be home for the Chicago Bears, and then they play at Cleveland before returning home. Esiason with time, and it is incomplete. Intended for Johnny Mitchell, covered by the strong safety Michael Stewart. It'll be a 2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line. Jets home next Sunday night for the Bears, then in Cleveland, and then back home for the Colts and the Patriots. And you see the bye weekend, and once again Indianapolis, followed by Buffalo. Jets getting off to the impressive starts with victories over Buffalo and Denver, but this afternoon it's been a different story. Johnny Mitchell with a nice catch down at the 30-yard line. Taken down by Michael Stewart. So it's a 31-yard pass play. The Jets going for the hurry-up, trailing here 28-7. You see we're coming up on 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
And that time Boomer Esiason threw that ball down the middle. There were 3 defenders on Mitchell, and he still got the ball there, and Mitchell made the catch.
And Esiason going end zone. Intended for Mitchell. Covered by Darryl Malone, one of the extra defensive backs. There's Minnesota with a 42-14 lead. Buffalo, 15-0 over Houston in the fourth. Philadelphia over Green Bay in the fourth quarter as we check out the 10-minute ticker. It's been a wild one. Pittsburgh by 3 over Indianapolis. Cleveland having a play with Arizona. Another long afternoon for Buddy Ryan, looking at an 0-3 record. And New England now Cincinnati 31-20. New Orleans by 2 over Tampa Bay. Monk with his second catch of the day, trying to get to the outside, but stopped short of the first down. Muhammad Oliver providing the coverage. And Oliver now hurt.
They don't have enough people, Mark. They really don't. I mean, they're playing with guys that are taped together. Especially when you look at a guy like Atkins, so they taped him up and put him back in the ballgame. He shouldn't have even started the game.
As it is, a new look secondary because Don are familiar faces such as Lewis Oliver and Jarvis Williams, but they were counting on Troy Vincent, who also sat out last week because of a knee problem. We'll take a timeout. Back in a moment. Oliver being checked out at the Miami bench. 3rd and 5 for the Jets at the Dolphins 22-yard line. 6:20 to go in the 4th quarter. Stevie Anderson will set up a 1st and goal.
Here's what happened to Muhammad Oliver, and it's his knee, and his own man hit him as he's trying to make the play. Watch his right leg, his right knee. When he makes a spin here comes his own man, and I think that's Michael Stewart, number 35, and it bends his knee inside, and they've got him on the bench. He will not be back, I'll tell you that.
Miami's 5, 1st and goal. Johnny Johnson trying to spin his way.
Inside of 6 minutes now, and I'm not going to get that critical, but you don't run the ball here. I mean, you got 1st and goal, throw it. You got to throw it every single down. Because every time you run the ball, the clock keeps moving. If you throw it and it's incomplete, at least the clock stops. And I think you have a better chance of getting in there because they're all bunched up looking at the run anyway. They're going with the tight end package.
James Thornton and Fred Baxter caught a touchdown last week. Come on, they go triple tight end. Esiason throwing wide open for the touchdown with Johnny Johnson.
It's a lot easier, it really is, Marv, to throw the ball down here. It makes so much sense because you're all bunched inside, and a little play action pass, he gets a back coming out of the backfield, and you have 3 tight ends on the field. You don't go for 2 here. You get in a situation where you're only 14 down. You still have 5:08, and you've got your timeouts.
We saw a moment ago the indication from head coach Pete Carroll go for the 1. Nick Lowry and Brian Hansen to put it down. Minutes, 8 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter, and the Dolphins now lead the Jets 28-14.
You know, do you dare go for an onside kick when you're kicking the ball from the 30-yard line? And you think about it, you're 14 down, 5:08 to play. Because when you kick off from the 30 now, what happens is you know they're going to get a good run back. They're going to get the ball probably at least to the 30. And O.J. McDuffie has been bringing the ball back to close to the 50. Can you risk an onside kick from the 30-yard line? Be interesting.
All right, they will be kicking off in just a moment. Right here, let's check in with our sideline reporter, Mary Ann Grabovoy. Mary Ann?
Thanks, Marv. With the Jets' relatively poor defensive showing today, there's a free agent out there whose stock is probably on the rise this afternoon. I spoke to Jets GM Dick Steinberg before the game. He said they're definitely pursuing former Cowboys defensive line Tony Casillas. As far as signing him, he says they're closer now than they have been. But the problem is the Jets are only about $100,000 below the salary cap, which means they'd have to make some cuts or restructure contracts. Casillas got out of his Kansas City contract claiming hypertension. Steinberg says that his medication's been changed, and they are satisfied that Casillas is ready to go. He passed the Jets physical. So the question is, will Tony Casillas be wearing Jets green this week? Marv, back to you.
Hi, Mariana. The Jets showing very little sign of a pass rush here today.
You know, when you look at this, look at Miami Dolphins. They've got their what they call a hands team. These are receivers and backs, and they're looking at an onside kick. We may see one. This is really going to be rare in the National Football League because, you know, the 40 is where the ball has to be, 10 yards. And man, if they don't get it, the game's over.
Lowry getting set for the kick. Only one man back deep for Miami. That is Scott Miller. baseman Mark Ingram. It did go to 10, and Ingram caught it on the fly.
He was looking to lateral.
Where was Irving Fryer?
Yeah, we're trying to get, two laterals are great in a game. Three would be just tremendous. And he was looking for someone to lateral the ball to. Here it comes. Ingram just takes the ball right out of the air. Here it comes. Bink, I got it. Thank you. Now they can recover the ball less than 10 yards. Here he is looking. Whoa. No. Get down.
So the ball placed at the Jet 40 with 5:01 remaining in the fourth quarter. Now Ingram is to the right, Fryer left. And the handoff to Parmalee. Oh, he put some moves on again. Bernie Parmalee going the entire repertoire in the second half, but a flag has been tossed.
What a great block by Ingram, the wide receiver, number 82. He straightens out two guys.
5 yards. Attached to the end of the run. It'll be a first down.
Ingram gets a sensational block on the outside. All he has to do is just screen people off, which he does. And enable Parmalee to get back to the outside and make the... Watch this. Number 82 on the top of your screen. Watch what he does here. He comes in. Here he's standing here. Now, boom. 1, 2 guys. Gets him blocked to the inside. Both linebackers. That's good.
Face mask penalty. It's a first down for Miami at the Jet 27-yard line. Miami 28, Jets 14. And James Saxon stopped Jeff Lageman. Have the wraps on him. Once again, let's check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv, in Pittsburgh, Byron Bam Morris. A 1-yard run for his first NFL touchdown gives the Steelers a 10-point lead, 2 minutes to play, and the Colts are driving. Marvin Paul, back to you.
Thanks, Greg. It is tough to get accustomed to seeing those uniforms. Look like you're watching a semi-pro game.
It looks like bad soup.
Never thought of it quite that way.
It's like some bad soup. Really, I mean, they're ugly.
Down to 4:45 to go in the fourth quarter. Tonight, here on NBC, it'll be Bermuda Triangle, Secrets Revealed, and the Unsolved Mysteries special on aliens. That's tonight starting at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on NBC. We're seeing the throwback uniforms, the NFL putting its 75th anniversary on display today. The teams throughout the league wearing the uniforms of years gone by. The Jets wearing theirs from 1968. Jets going on to win the Super Bowl, beating Don Shula and his Baltimore Colts. A victory that helped create the momentum for the 1970 merger, while the Dolphins wearing uniforms that match those worn during the undefeated season back in 1972. Second down and 10. His way inside the 20, Ronnie Lott on the tackle. Well, Bernie Parmalee has run for 40 yards. The Dolphins, the last 3 seasons against the Jets, averaged just under 57 yards a game. Not good. Today, 161 yards on the ground.
And they're doing exactly what they want to do. I mean, it's just excellent blocking with the offensive line and the backs and the receivers. We saw Ingram's block. When the throwback, these uniforms, the teams that lose today, do they just about burn them?
Yes, at Joe Robbie Stadium.
It'll be a 3rd and 2.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Out of the 19-yard line, with 4.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. Next Saturday, it'll be Notre Dame football here on NBC. Notre Dame coming from behind to defeat Michigan State 21-20. They go up against the Boilermakers of Purdue. That'll be next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern time here on NBC.
Boilermakers.
Ron Paulus picked off 4 times, but the Irish coming back for the win. 3rd down and 2. Parmalee got to follow his block stop. Lost the yard on the play. Mo Lewis on the tackle.
And they're going to kick the field goal, which is the thing to do.
Pete Stoyanovich, who is 2 for 2 on the season, hit from 42. He's hit from 48. Corrections, 2 for 3. He missed that 63-yarder at the end of the half. Trying to put himself alongside Tom Dempsey, and he missed it by a pretty good margin, I have to say.
Yeah, 20 yards.
So this will be a 37-yard attempt. High snap handled, and Stoyanovich hit the post. Hit the goal post.
Did you mark it?
So make it 2 for 4 for Pete.
Kicking from the infield, and that's tough.
3:41 remaining in the fourth. Miami up by 14. Well, the Jets take over at their 28-yard line following the field goal miss by Stoyanovich. And it's Monk who broke the tackle, getting out to the 37-yard line. Brian Cox able to get him down. Third catch of the day for Art Monk. It is good for a 9-yard pickup.
Well, see, the onside kick worked. They get the ball back just a little bit about 4 minutes later.
Down to 3:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. Esiason again able to complete. Tight end Johnny Mitchell stopped by Chris Green. This an 18-yard advance, but obviously at this point of the game, Miami giving the Jets lots of room. Jets in the hurry up with just under 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. First down at the Miami 45. Anthony Johnson.
It's going to come back.
He has a first down, but a penalty marker has been thrown.
Rob Moore left too soon, and he knew it. He stayed downfield, didn't even come back to block because he knew it was going to come back. Legal motion.
Illegal motion on the wide receiver. 5 yards. Repeat first down.
It's like a prom bow tie. See that? You like those bow ties? Do you like the uniform at all? Is there anything you like about it?
I think the officials are dressed in very gentlemanly fashion for it. It's set back to a 1st and 15 at midfield with 2:42 to go in the fourth. Screen play for Johnny Johnson. Kicked down at the 40-yard line. Chris Singleton on the tackle. It's a pickup of 10. Johnny Johnson stopped behind the line by Craig Vesey. As we come up on 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So a timeout taken. And we'll be back here in Miami in a moment. To go in the fourth quarter, and the Dolphins with a 28-14 lead on the Jets. Dolphins on their way to a record of 3-0. Esiason with the tie. Nice catch by Monk, and a good play by J.B. Brown. May have kept him shy of the first down. For Monk, it is his 4th catch of the day. To the final scores, Minnesota over Chicago. That's the final. Buffalo defeating Houston, 113 yards for Thurman Thomas. Philadelphia leading Green Bay in the fourth quarter. Here's Morrell, and he picked up the first down, and that's the final. Pittsburgh able to hang on and defeat Indianapolis 31-21. Cleveland 25-zip over Arizona in the fourth. Buddy Ryan will be 0-3.
Buddy ball, is he working?
New England by 11 over Cincinnati in the fourth quarter. Swing pass to the left. It's called a frog in the throat call.
I didn't notice anything.
Adrian Morrell has that kind of effect on the swing pass. Second down and 5. And Esiason throwing, picked off at a penalty marker, goes down. Michael Stewart with the interception. The pass intended for Stevie Anderson. A flag was thrown.
Boomer's walking out. It's
On the defense, number 85 did not get off the field to delay a game on the defense. The penalty is refused.
He's got it backwards. It's got to be a delay of game on the offense because the penalty would be refused.
Yeah, but they were too many men on the field.
Here we go. We're going to get it straight. Here.
Correction. There was too many men on the field on the offensive team. Number 85 did not get off the field. The penalty is refused. It's a touchback. First down.
You know, the bow tie will play havoc with the officials. So it is the fourth time the Dolphins have picked off Boomer Esiason. Michael Stewart, man who leads the Dolphins in tackles, comes up with his first of the season. Michael, a free agent by way of the LA Rams, spent 7 years with the Rams, a starter the last 6. And the defense has come up very strong here this afternoon. Time is running down. The defensive coordinator of the Dolphins will certainly enjoy looking back at this one. Dan Marino will too. 23 of 31, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, was not sacked. While Boomer Esiason finished 22 of 36, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. And the Miami Dolphins go to a record of 3-0. The Jets will drop to 2-1. Don Shula adding to his magnificent record. Pete Carroll suffering his first loss as an NFL head coach. That's the final. We'll be back in a moment.